What you cried for will become your testimony. Sometimes life's delays feel unbearable. You pray, you hope, you believe, and yet nothing seems to change. The heart grows weary, the soul grows anxious, and the mind begins to question God's faithfulness. But the truth is, delay is not denial. What God has promised will come to pass in His timing, and your waiting is often the preparation for the miracle you desire. Hannah's story in 1 Samuel 1 verse 20 reminds us of this truth. So in the course of time, Hannah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, "Because I asked the Lord for him." Hannah had prayed for years for a child. She poured out her soul before God, weeping in anguish, and yet it seemed as though nothing was happening. People around her questioned, misunderstood, and even added to her pain. But in her sorrow, she turned to God with steadfast faith, and her delay became the very setup for her greatest blessing. Psalm 37 verse 7 says, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes." Waiting is not passive. It is active trust. It is the choice to remain faithful, to continue seeking God, to continue praying even when your heart feels empty and your circumstances feel stagnant. Hannah's example teaches us that God notices the tears we cannot hide, the prayers we cannot voice aloud, and the pain we feel in the silence. He sees every longing, and His timing is perfect. Hannah's faith was tested by ridicule, by comparison, and by disappointment. Elkanah, her husband, loved her, but he could not fulfill her deepest desire. Peninnah, her rival, provoked her and reminded her of what she lacked. Yet Hannah did not allow discouragement to dictate her hope. She knew God could do what no human could. She prayed silently, crying out from the depths of her heart, and God heard her. 1 Samuel 1 verse 11 captures her prayer. "Lord Almighty, if you will only look on your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life." Hannah's prayer was both persistent and surrendered, and that combination drew God's response. Sometimes, when God delays, He is preparing something greater than what we can imagine. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 assures us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Delays are not denials. The waiting season strengthens faith, builds character, and positions us to handle the blessing when it finally arrives. Hannah's years of longing were not wasted. They became a foundation for her miracle and shaped her into a woman whose faith would impact generations through Samuel. In moments of waiting, it can feel like God is silent, but He is always working behind the scenes. Lamentations 3 verses 25 to 26 says, "The Lord is good to those whose hope is in Him, to the one who seeks Him. It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord." Waiting teaches patience. Waiting teaches trust. Waiting teaches dependence on God rather than on human understanding. Hannah's example shows us that prayer in the midst of waiting is never in vain. Every tear, every heartfelt cry, every silent plea is noticed by God. Your delay does not mean denial. What you have asked for in faith will come, and it will come in the fullness of God's perfect timing. The very thing you prayed for, the very thing you longed for, the very thing you thought was impossible, can become your testimony. Hannah's joy was so great when Samuel was born that she dedicated him to the Lord, fulfilling her promise and demonstrating that God's answer was not just a gift, but also a purpose. So if you are tired of waiting, lift your heart to God. Pray with persistence and faith. Trust His timing, even when your heart aches. Hold on to hope, even when circumstances seem impossible. Your delay is shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you for the miracle that is coming. What you cried for, what you hoped for, what you have believed for is not forgotten. God sees your longing and is preparing a testimony that will inspire, encourage, and glorify Him. If this message touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to the Gospel Media TV for more faith-filled inspiration. Share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and let us know in the comments what blessed you the most. Your engagement helps us spread the gospel farther and reach more souls. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new message. God bless you, and see you in the next video.